Carl Jung, one of history's most brilliant minds, created 5 powerful principles that together help you become the person you're afraid to be, your shadow self. Let me show you how decoding and connecting these principles in a very specific order can free your ultimate self.
The world hangs on a thin thread, and that is the psyche of man. There's no such thing as an age bomb. That is all man's doing.
Yeah.
We are the great danger. The psyche is the great danger. What if something goes wrong with the psyche?
To begin this journey, you have to first face your shadow. But before you can do that, you have to understand what the shadow actually is. On one of his collected works, Carl Jung says that on the civilized level, the shadow is regarded as a personal gaffe, slip, faux pas, etc., which are then chalked up as defects of the conscious personality. The shadow is like shameful parts of yourself you stuffed in your closet. It includes feelings like anger, fear, envy, but it can also include suppressed talents or desires. It can actually have both positive and negative traits that have been repressed because you or others don't find them acceptable. Now that you know what the shadow is, it's time to face it. And you must. You should really face your shadow because ignoring it, it's actually going to make it grow stronger, darker, until it controls your life and you won't even know it. But of course you can stop the madness, and to stop it, you must turn the light to your own darkness.
Man is not complete if he is not conscious of that aspect of things. A man is not complete when he lives in a world of statistical truth. He must live in a world of his biological truth. It is the expression of what he really is and what he feels himself.
One way to see your own shadow self is by taking mental or written note of moments of intense emotions like anger, jealousy, fear, envy. Experts in Jungian psychology advise us to reflect on these feelings to find parts of ourselves that you might actually be avoiding. And don't worry, I'll definitely share more great techniques later, but first, congratulations, you can actually see your shadow. That's huge, but it is useless without the next principle.
And after a while, you get the full picture.
Yeah.
And if he has a full picture and has the necessary moral stamina, well, then he can be cured.
I see.
But in the end, it is a moral question whether a man applies what he had learned or not.
Carl Jung makes massive emphasis on the principle of owning your shadow self, claiming responsibility for your repressed side. No excuses, no blaming others.
One thing is sure, a great change of our psychological attitude is imminent. That is certain.
Why?
Because we need more. We need more psychology. We need more understanding of human nature, because the only real danger that exists is man himself. He is the great danger, and we are pitifully unaware of it. We know nothing of man, far too little. His psyche should be studied, because we are the origin of all coming evil.
Accepting responsibility, being real, being honest with yourself about those dark, repressed sides, about how they strengthen or weaken you, that's a superpower. In Dr. Jung's perspective, it's the difference between passively watching life happen versus focusing on what you can control and strategizing towards becoming the person you won't believe you can be.
We are shaped through education, through the influence of the parents, which are by no means always personal. They were prejudiced or they were influenced by historical ideas or what I call dominance. And that is a most decisive factor in psychology. And we are not of today or of yesterday. We are of an immense age.
With responsibility accepted, it is time to open communication with your shadow.
There are, of course, great individual differences. There are individuals who have amazing knowledge of themselves. But even those people would be capable of knowing what is going on in their unconscious.
The shadow often holds valuable insights, clues, and messages into your unmet needs, but also suppressed desires and even unresolved issues. From a Jungian perspective, let's say your shadow secretly holds a passion for engineering. It might manifest as dissatisfaction or even envy towards anyone who tries to go after a career in engineering. You now hold critical information that can unlock your best life. But here's the thing, that information is useless if you don't know what to do with it. That's where the fourth principle comes in. The fourth principle is about bringing your suppressed parts to your conscious self. But this in no way means letting negative traits run free and wild. It's actually about transforming and harmonizing them within your personality. So let's say that Antonina is hating on Brutus at work because he got a promotion yet again. But one day, instead of hating on Brutus some more, she signs up for pretzel making classes, puts extra effort boiling the dough, and next thing you know, thanks to that new confidence, she's crushing goals with Brutus. She decided to transform her dark side into a very positive trait. Antonina is obviously reading up on Carl Jung, and it shows.
The psyche has two conditions, two important conditions. The one is the environmental influence, and the other is the given fact of the psyche as it is born. The self is merely a term that designates the whole personality, because the whole personality of man is indescribable. His consciousness can be described. His unconscious cannot be described, because the unconscious, as I must repeat myself, is always unconscious. And it is really unconscious. It really does not know it.
To use this key and take a look at your unconscious through your shadow, you must activate principle number 5. On one side, this principle is about the transformation that begins with repressed parts of yourself acknowledged and accepted. But on the other side, you know very well that we all have multiple repressed aspects within. We really got to make it a habit to face and integrate our repressed sides. To keep that sword nice and sharp, make sure you're setting time aside to reflect on recurring patterns and strong emotional reactions. You want to ask yourself, what repressed side of me are these feelings trying to put on the spotlight or throw under the bus? I personally do it alone, but professional help is always the best option. As a matter of fact, I recently used these principles to dig a little deeper into my people-pleasing nonsense. I suppress my natural directness so much to keep jobs, to keep, that working professional dynamic at peace, so I could keep the job and survive. And there goes the people pleasing. It's flourished and it's gone wild. But yeah, that's where I am right now, trying to integrate. And I hope, by the way, that you give yourself this experience. You absolutely deserve it. There is no one or anything that can describe it to you, because it's so unique to each and every one of us.